It's hard to keep track of the bazillion ZenFone 3 models out there, and to no surprise, here's another. This is the ZenFone 3S Max, which boasts of a 5000 mAh battery rather than the 4100 mAh battery of its predecessor. It also gets Android 7.0 Nougat, a front-facing fingerprint scanner, and a 5.2-inch display, which is something that's on the verge of getting extinct these days. Anyways, I'm Sohil Nikam, you're watching the TechShout channel on YouTube, and let's get going with this review of the ZenFone 3S Max. The design approach is simple, metal and glass. But this is not a unibody design. There's a strip at the back on the bottom that kind of spoils what could have been a really posh rear surface. A 13 megapixel main camera and a dual LED flash sit on the rear surface. The edges are sufficiently curved for your palm to feel at ease while holding the device. The buttons on the right are accessible and clicky. At the bottom is a speaker with two grills and a micro USB port, which further elongates the long road towards Type-C universality. Thanks to its 5000 mAh battery, you can even use it as a power bank to charge other devices. On the front is a 2.5D glass that's not Gorilla Glass, mind you, and is very prone to scratches. And it's covering a 5.2-inch 720p display. The front also houses an 8 megapixel 85-degree wide-angle camera. And then there's a fingerprint scanner which doubles up as a tactile home key despite the phone having software navigation buttons. The selling point of the ZenFone 3 Max is of course its 5000 mAh battery. And you'll be surprised to know that despite this, the phone is quite light and slim. It weighs just 175 grams and is 8.8 mm thick. Lastly, it has 32 GB of internal storage and a hybrid SIM slot. The MediaTek model of the earlier ZenFone 3 Max had a 5.2-inch 720p display. There's no upgrade here, so you're still not getting that 1080p display that the Snapdragon variant of the ZenFone 3 Max had. Speaking about the display itself, it left me quite impressed with its brightness. And it also produces admirable visuals that seldom let you realize that the resolution is low. The viewing angles of this IPS display are also great. The 5-magnet speaker inside the ZenFone 3S Max is quite loud. So if you desire that, you'd be very happy with this phone. The well-implemented outdoor mode will amplify the audio furthermore. But if you're an audio enthusiast who wants well-balanced sound output for your music, this speaker is not meant for you. This is one of the first phones from Asus to ship with a Nougat version of Zen UI, but that is not at all apparent at first glance. Zen UI still looks exactly the same, and it still has that intrusive mobile manager app which continuously bombards you with notifications you don't need. Plus, there are a number of pre-installed apps that you're never gonna use. I had hoped that all of this would change with the new version of Zen UI, but it has stayed the same unfortunately. Among the new features that Nougat brings with it is multi-window, and its implementation is same as that of stock Android. As usual, Zen motion gestures are present as well. Apart from the Game Genie feature which lets you capture in-game screenshots and even broadcast live gameplay on YouTube or Twitch. On the back of the ZenFone 3S Max is a 13 megapixel main camera. Fitted with an f2.0 lens, this shooter returns average results. It has a tendency to overexpose bright areas and its shadows suffer from very low detailing. Although the color reproduction is good, sharpness is not at all a strong point of this camera. Surprisingly, the low light performance is quite good considering its limitations in well-lit conditions. The noise levels are very much under control and the image quality is decent. The 3S Max captures 1080p videos and again, they can best be described as average. When it comes to selfies, a big advantage is the 85-degree wide-angle lens that accompanies its 8 megapixel front-facing camera. This results in wide selfies, but they're not as sharp as you'd want them to be. The camera app needs to get a mention here for its high number of modes like on every Asus phone. But the fact that remains is that there's nothing new here. The ZenFone 3S Max runs on a 1.5 GHz octa-core processor from MediaTek and 3 GB of RAM. This combination gives you standard performance which is expected from a phone in this category. But it's not flawless. Frame rate drops and lags do appear from time to time. The overall speed remains admirable though. High-end games will run on it, but the lack of a good GPU means the graphics won't be up to the mark. Can the 5000 mAh battery of this phone survive heavy use for 2 days? Yes, it can. The ZenFone 3S Max excels in the department it's meant to excel in. I could extract more than 7 hours of screen on time from it, which is remarkable. With light usage, which involved making and receiving a few phone calls daily, I was able to keep the phone running for 3 days on a trot. This proves that the Asus ZenFone 3S Max is one of the best phones out there for those looking for great battery life. One downside, however, is that it does not support fast charging. The ZenFone 3S Max is likely to be priced between 12,000 to 14,000 rupees. So against the likes of the Redmi Note 4, the Honor 6X and even the Moto G4 Plus, it doesn't have much going for it in terms of overall specs. However, its 5000 mAh battery is a huge plus, and it's ideal for those looking for long battery life. Unfortunately though, its other attributes like its main camera and its intrusive and bloatware filled software drag its appeal down by quite a margin. I'm gonna have to go with 2.5 out of 5 stars.